The hardest thing I've had to do in real estate is not be able to provide advice and opinion to a client. In Texas, there's three different relationships. You have a relationship with a seller, the relationship with a buyer, and then an intermediary relationship. And the intermediary relationship is, let's say the buyer doesn't have a real estate agent and they want you to work the deal. Well, when you do that, you cannot provide advice and opinion to the buyer or the seller. And when I meet with my clients, I go over this form with them that talks about the different relationships. And I had a client that we put their house on the market and a buyer didn't have a real estate agent and they wanted to work the deal. And so I talked to my client. I'm like, look, if we do this, if we work with them, I can no longer give you advice and opinion because it becomes an intermediary relationship. And I was like, I've given you the comparables for the house. You know what the house is worth. But if we go through with this and I work on putting an offer together, I can't give you advice or opinion. I can only give you material facts. And she's like, oh, no, that's fine. I understand. So the person submitting the offer came in low. And so I presented the offer. And the seller was like, well, what do you think, Dave? And I'm like, remember that form I had you sign that said you understood that I can't provide you advice or opinion? She's like, yes. I was like, you know how much the house is worth. Here's the comparables. The decision's really up to you. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll accept it. And then the inspection comes in, and then they try to bring down more money for the inspection. And so the seller, again, I present what the buyer wanted me to present to her, and she's like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, I can't tell you what I think. I can't. Here's where the value of the house is. Here's what you've accepted. And this is what they're asking for repairs. And she's like, well, as long as I can close on this day, I'm okay. And so we signed it and we closed. And after that, I was like, I'm never working an intermediary relationship again, because she left money on the table that if I could give her advice and opinion, I would have been able to do that. And there's a lot of real estate agents out there that will try to work both sides, because for them, it's about the money. But for me, it's about the people. And from that day forward, this was like 5 years ago, and I still remember it like it was just yesterday. It resonates in my heart. And so I will never, ever put money ahead of a client, and I will never do an intermediary relationship again. And if you ever are put in that situation, I highly recommend that you find somebody else to work with the buyer so that you can have someone that's got a vested interest in you looking out for you.